Charges for LIEnette and John CROOK just showed up on the Levy County docket as of yesterday. The charges are for violating the civil protection orders that we have based out of Ohio, but must legally be enforced all over the United States. Now, we don't believe it's actually going to stay in the Levy County Courthouse, and this is the reason why. I just had a conversation with another state attorney in another county just 2 days ago. Not about LIEnette, not about Crook, but about Stephen Rhett Cunningham, the Rat, Amanda Martin, Levy County's victim's advocate's own son, who assaulted and battered me in barbecues in Chiefland, Florida. And because Amanda Martin is within the Levy County court system, and Amanda Martin is under investigation, an internal state attorney investigation herself, they are now taking this and placing it in another neighboring county. And I have scheduled now an entire meeting with the state attorney in regards to the charges pending for the Rat Cunningham, Amanda Martin's own son. Now, we've already been told by the Levy County deputies that their charges that they're bringing, and they have clearly stated to us, they want nothing more than to see these two arrested and imprisoned for breaking the law as well. Because if they actually have consequences, they might stop. And then the Levy County Sheriff and deputies can actually give attention to more pressing matters. I mean, this is an area where we have people who unalive people, we have people doing things to children, there's all kinds of horrific things happening that would have a higher presence, a higher priority over breaking a civil protection order. And if they're finally held accountable, they could potentially stop. And that would be great, right? Well, they're going to push that into another county as well. And we believe it will be under a different county, not as corrupt as Levy County, as we've come to find it to be. With all the information that WTH News is sharing with the planet, and all the debunking, I gotta admit, debunking just makes me feel so good. Who are you gonna call when you need somebody to debunk? You might call WTH News. Well, there are people coming out of the woodwork wanting to share information with us. And this is interesting because we had an individual who goes by the name of Sail Away, Safe Harbor 2, and it goes on, who actually could have potential charges against them as well, because things they've said and done have not been covered under constitutionally protected speech. And they've been a strong proponent of LIEnette and CROOK. And then 2 days ago, we get a message from Laura. And we've always known Laura's name, whether we've shared it or not. Now, I want to be very clear. Laura, in her message, states, I don't want my name shared. Listen, if you're going to go ahead and share this information with a public news station on the largest media platform in the world, well, you're going to see here, okay? By the way, we're about to do some debunking, and it feels so good. So Laura states this: Dear Jeremy and George, by the way, the subject matter is rescuing the child from LIEnette and CROOK. Dear Jeremy and George. Oh, and the name of her email, none of your business. All right, well, let's just keep going on. Dear Jeremy and George, I realize I'm the last person you guys want to hear from. I am AKA Sail Away. Sail Away forever. My Safe Harbor. She also has My Safe Harbor 2 and others. By the way, you've got to be a little off upstairs to create all these pseudo, false, fake accounts, all right? Just to troll people and to do and participate in unprotected speech. In other words, break the law. And she goes on to say, first, I want to apologize for all the mean things that I said about you all. Y'all. Okay? I pray, by the way, this is Florida. I'm pretty sure we don't say y'all in Florida. That's some other areas. But, okay. I pray that y'all will forgive me. Listen, Jesus will forgive you. The things this woman has done is horrific. I'm not Jesus. I'm not at that point. But what I will do is pursue legal consequences. And then we can talk about forgiveness once those consequences are served. Okay? And we'll keep going on. I don't expect to be in your inner circle. I didn't even know we had a circle. George, do we have a circle? Okay. All right. Well, go figure. I didn't even know we had a circle. But I do want to help you with the child. I think I can provide information to you, and that the child's family, I can provide to them as well. Once requested, my name or any information about me shared online, I want to remain anonymous. That's odd. Do you understand individuals who come forward and say, I want to remain anonymous, and yet under the cloak of keyboard trolling, thinking that they have a cloak. We've already known her name this entire time. We've known who she is, where she is this entire time. And now you want anonymous. That's right. That's right. These are cowards, and the worst kind is what it is. Oh, I want anonymity, even though I said and broke the law under all these scream names. Okay. One request, by the way, there will be no anonymous. One request, my name or any information won't be shared online. I want to remain anonymous. In private, you can use my name or my screen names. Oh, George, it's just me and you here, right? Me, you, and the camera?
The ducks and the chickens.
Yeah, we're in private. Okay, a little about me. I'm an older adult living in Clearwater, Florida. Yeah, we already know the address. Prior to me being DX'd with 2 brain tumors as well as other medical issues, I was a social worker. And when you first mentioned LP, LIEnette, I realized there was more to her story. Some of her past is similar to my own upbringing. Why is it that individuals who... You know what, I'm just going to pass over that. I'm just going to keep going, okay? I did contact her in hopes of giving her positive ways to change the issues she's faced, such as going on Al-Anon, therapy, etc. And as you can imagine, she ignored absolutely all my suggestions I made or referred her to. I gave up on giving any more info. The only reason I stay in contact with her is so I can monitor the child's well-being. And I agree, the child needs rescuing from her. And yes, I've made multiple reports myself to social services, but I have to be careful so she doesn't find out what I'm doing. Well, let me stop right there. Contacting social services if you see something that is wrong and reporting that to the appropriate authorities is right. That's something you want known, that you're doing the right thing. The bad thing is when you're hiding behind screen names and thinking that you can say whatever you want, do whatever you want, break the law all the time. It doesn't work that way. Life doesn't work that way. And you know what? And if Laura seriously was a social worker, the horrific things that she must have done to families, considering the things that she said and done to George and I feel horrible that anybody would have put this woman in a position to, I think you know where I'm going. Okay, I'm willing to work with you all and a family to gather more info you all need. But where and who you got the info must remain confidential to nurse she does not find out. And I'm pretty sure that's supposed to say to make sure she doesn't find out. So let's pause right there. You understand she's saying, I'll get any info for you. I'll be your mole. Okay. LIEnette and CROOK are under civil protection orders right now. They cannot have any contact. They cannot come within 500 feet of us. They can't have any direct, indirect, third-party contact, social media contact, even though they continue to break all of this. And now Laura's saying, hey, I'll be your third party and I'll get information for you. Red flags should be going up like crazy right now. If you want to call me on my cell, here's my number. My name is Laura Croom. We've already known her name and her number and her address and all of her profiles. Besides that, in 2010, I moved from Willington, North Carolina to Clearwater, Florida. I kept my North Carolina phone number so my parents would not have to pay for long distance just to talk with me. All right, well, somebody obviously doesn't understand how cell phones work, but you know what? Let's keep going on. It's your choice whether to contact me or not. I'm offering the olive branch. Just keep my number safe. Thanks. Sincerely, Laura Croom. P.S. Oh, here we go with postscripts. Oh my goodness, it's just like LIEnette to the judge. Please don't be so harsh on my grammar, sentence structure, spelling, etc. One of my downfalls. No, Laura's downfall is she's a horrific individual and person. She's a horrible human being who has said and done horrible things. How does Marla Hughes and LIEnette feel about Sail Away or Laura Croom? Well, let's find out. Marla and LIEnette have a full conversation about it. By the way,
there's Wiggly Balls in there too.
Yeah, Wiggly Balls is in there as well. We have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of screenshots that are going to be used in the court system. And Marla will have her day in court. Okay. Now, it is going to be a while. After we get done with federal court, we will take all the information from LIEnette, then that will be used against Marla. Has anyone seen Sail Away? I was in the middle of a conversation in DM and she just disappeared. And Wiggly Balls says, it's showing above that she no longer is in this group. I'm wondering what happened. Well, Marla says to Wiggly Balls, she was trying to post some things and they weren't going through. I was working with her to try and fix it, but I had to lay down for a bit. I'm shocked that woman can even sit up. And then LIEnette says, Marla, huge. She's fine. She just gets upset with things, okay? And then LIEnette goes further on to say, I just text her. She posted some things. Now, keep in mind what you just heard here, okay? LIEnette post, I just text her, okay? Keep that in mind because there's communication with text. You have to hold on to that. I just texted her. She posted some things about mineral rights, and I thought for sure that they got put on the page, and John must have taken them down by accident or thinking she was somebody else or whatever because I added him as a moderator because I was in Facebook jail for 23 days. Well, it's going to get a lot worse than just Facebook jail for LIEnette and Crook. 23 days, there's going to be more than that. So I think that upset her, and I'm not going to get into things that are going on with her, but she needs our prayers medically, so we can just say that, and hopefully everybody will say a prayer for her, and she's wonderful, wonderful lady. I just love her. I wonder if LIEnette loves that she tried to throw her under the bus. Now, let's latch on to that aspect that she said, LIEnette, she was texting Laura Croom or Sail Away. When we got the message originally from Sail Away or Laura Croom, all we did was respond with send screenshots, the same we would with everybody. And her response, all of my conversations were over the phone. Pathological, habitual, yet again, debunked lie. Even LIEnette says she's texting with Laura. And 2 days later, Laura, or My Safe Harbor, now under her My Safe Harbor 2 account, posts this on YouTube. What he did for the kids, ? She's referring to Christmas in the Creek. LMAO. By the way, keep in mind, she just messaged us 2 days previous and said, I want to give you any information. I want to save the child. I want to help you. I want to get everything for you. All of his followers provided money and gifts for the kids, not him. It's interesting because I'm pretty sure we actually went and bought out an entire Five Below. Debunked yet again with half of the Otter Creek residents. Well, okay. A fourth of the Otter Creek residents. He made money off of those children. I'm not sure how in the world I made money off of any of these kids. I do know I spent a tremendous, tremendous amount to make sure they had the best Christmas ever. If he's so concerned for the child with LIEnette and Crook, why didn't he take the child some of those gifts that were donated for Christmas? What gifts were left over? He's keeping for himself and selling on eBay. He's so full of it. Okay, well, let's tackle this a little bit. This psychotic individual, Laura Croom, number one, we would never take anything over to LIEnette and Crooks. We have a civil protection order on them. We want them out of our lives, not in our lives. Number two, there is no civil protection order on the child. child can come get any toys if she so please. Not to mention, we have the proof that LIEnette has sent multiple people over to our schoolhouse during dollar sales and other events such as Christmas in the Creek to get things for the child, even when under a civil protection order. Okay, now eBay, that's interesting that she would say that we've taken all of these toys and sold them on eBay when anybody has access to our eBay and can see when we've showed every single toy that was donated and unwrapped and unpackaged, and you can see not been on our eBay. As a matter of fact, it's being stored for next Christmas. Christmas in the Creek 2024. Oh, baby, we want more. You want a little sample of some of the things that Laura Crum has said in the past, or Crum? She's just a despicable human being. So under her sail away count, she has, I lost it, replying to Marlie Huge in regards to the grants for the town. Sail Away has stated this: first and foremost, they need to run Jeremy out of town. By the way, not protected speech by any stretch of the imagination. Buy his land. That's interesting because you can't buy land that isn't for sale. And give him the boot. Now she's talking about physical violence. Then find those not involved with JH to help lead the town in a positive direction. Who would that be? Russ the Sus? Don the Con? Mary
Would it be
Scary?
her because she wants to help you save the child?
Could be her. She wants to help so bad to save the child. It must be Laura Crap. That's who it must be. And JH, someone who knows nothing about previous present members, just my opinion. Well, her opinion broke constitutionally protected speech. She's a ridiculously toxic individual who, if ever did work in social services, never should have. And her entire message was to entrap with a temporary order. And now she has yet again been debunked. We didn't even mention that she's contacted us through LIEnette and CROOK, third party, by tagging us with videos on YouTube. And yes, it's all been reported to the appropriate authorities. She's not the only one doing third-party communication via social media and breaking the civil protection order. Look at this. You've got Marlie Huge posting videos and then hashtagging what the hails. That comes directly to us as it's hashtagged. It's Crook's video. Marla posted, and then she hashtags what the hails, which is third-party social media communication. With friends like these, LIEnette doesn't even need enemies. And what do LIEnette's biological children think about all this? How about Junior? Michelle Preston Jr. left a huge comment on one of our videos when Ashley and Samantha were talking about all the horrific things LIEnette did to them. And she says this: I support you seeking healing in any way you need to find it. I hope you're taking into consideration that the trauma didn't start with you. And for us, it hasn't ended, and it may never. I love you, Ashley, and as I do all of my sisters. Just remember that what has affected you affected us as well. I haven't been able to escape her wrath. This is Junior. LIEnette Michelle Jr. Remember, LIEnette's real name is LIEnette. She then came to Otter Creek, changed it to Michelle. Now she calls herself Michelle Sr. She is not a senior. She never has been. And Michelle Preston, the actual, real Michelle Preston, has never been a junior. But Michelle Preston is the daughter. Keep that in mind, okay? Because LIEnette wants you to think she's Michelle Preston. She is not, nor is she a senior. All right, let's keep going on. All right. And I haven't been able to escape her wrath, and I may never. And this has a huge ripple effect into my life as well. Personally, I think it's heartbreaking in total. I lived through 44 years of this. 44 years of public broadcasted trauma. This isn't broadcasted drama for me. It's broadcasted truth that she's had to live through with LIEnette. Now, LIEnette has had this broadcasted all over in the courts, news media. All you have to do is dig. As she lies to judges, this has been her entire life pattern. My life has already been destroyed by her and her need to destroy and hate her own daughter. That's not my words. That's Michelle Preston's words. The real Michelle Preston. So please keep in mind that I too am trying to heal from an entire lifetime of far worse than all of this. And she's referring to what Ashley and Samantha went through. All of this continues to break my heart for us kids. The lack of love, the lack of a childhood that we all had. And it obviously isn't over yet. Sending my love. Of course, they are their worst enemies, each of them, Crook and LIEnette. As a matter of fact, LIEnette has a super long rant and post here, but we're just going to go through the first run-on sentence with absolutely no sentence structure, punctuation, or grammar. And it says, Kathy Apple, because all John has ever done is use his mouth. He doesn't know how to not speak poorly to women. But you know what this is all done. We are separated on our property like we were told to do. I want to be very clear on we were told to do. That is a case plan that separated the two. And I find this extremely ironic. You know what? I find it odd. And I don't use that term nearly enough because it's LIEnette that says Jeremy Hales has problems with women. Okay, well, my entire life is surrounded with women. I have 3 employed that the world knows about. Patience, Deanna, George, 1 younger than me, 1 just about the same age as me, 1 older than me, and let's not forget Baby Pepper as well. She might as well be employed. She's getting anything she wants from me because she's that stinking cute. So we've got that whole issue going on. But yet it's Crook. Crook has the problem with, he doesn't know how to speak anything but poorly to women. It is literally LIEnette and Crook that have a case plan that separates them. There's no case plan for me separating me from any females. As a matter of fact, you've probably seen me interact with Belinda, the town clerk, who I truly love. And I think I could confidently say that she has a love and a care for myself as well. And there are many others in my life. No case plan with me. Only Crook and LIEnette, who have been told to separate. So where are things in the federal court? Well, we have a motion that was ordered by the judge, okay? And now if you remember, Crook and LIEnette actually filed for a free lawyer in a federal case, which 99.9% of the time never, ever, ever happens. So you already know they have filed multiple different things. As a matter of fact, they clearly filed that I was not a resident of Ohio, that the damages are not $75,000 plus. As a matter of fact, as of today, I'm over $150,000 just in legal fees. That's not traveling back and forth. That's not having to let employees go, loss of income because of that. All the time that I've lost that I could have been generating income, but I have to actually give towards these cases. It goes on and on and on.
Did she include that her mother is not dead?
I don't believe that she stated that yet. But the judge did make a motion, and he said, as you can see here, order, and this is, I'm gonna read it verbatim, okay? Defendants proceeding pro se, meaning they are defending themselves without lawyer, have moved for the appointment of counsel in this case. And he refers to documents 11 and 12, which LIEnette and Crook actually filed. They did not do it by themselves. They had help. And they are going to be legally charged for not disclosing that information. That is illegal. In their motions, defendants claim they are unable to afford counsel. Okay. I mean, I can't argue that, but yet, if you're unable to afford counsel, don't break the law. Pretty easy. If you can't afford to hire a lawyer, you probably couldn't have afforded to break the law. This is a life lesson for everyone. If you can't afford a counselor, or if you can't afford a lawyer, you can't afford to break the law. It's well established, the judge goes on to say, that a civil litigant has absolutely no constitutional right for counsel. And he cites all case plan here. So he's literally telling Crook and LIEnette, you've got no legal right to counsel in this federal case whatsoever. This is not a criminal case yet. There will be criminal cases that follow all of this against LIEnette and Crook as well. Like I've said before, and I want to be so clear, this is the first dominoes beginning to fall, and then it's going to go. They have no idea the box that they open, and you may call that Pandora's box. We're just, you know what, they have no idea the turtle shell that they cracked. And we'll just say that. Okay. Appointment of counsel is a privilege that is justified only by exceptional circumstances. And he also gives case law there as well. And should appoint counsel only in these exceptional circumstances. And then he goes on to say the 11th Circuit has instructed courts to consider the following factors when deciding if exceptional circumstances exist. Now, I like this lawyer already, or excuse me, this judge. It's actually the magistrate under the judge, but who will not act as a lawyer. But he literally says, he frames it. He says, you ask for free counsel. This is what we are supposed to look at for these exceptional circumstances. Number one, the type and complexity of the case. Number two, whether the indigent or the litigant is capable of adequately presenting his case or her case in this matter. Number three, whether the litigant is in a position to adequately investigate the case. Number four, whether the evidence will consist of large part of conflicting testimony, so to require skill in the presentation of evidence and cross-examination. And then he gives case law as well. And this is the best, okay? This is LIEnette and Crook again. Every move they make, self-incriminating, hurting themselves. Everything Laura Crum does, everything Marla Hughes does, everything these fools do, only hurt them further. Defendants present no exceptional circumstances that warrant the appointment of counsel at this time. In other words, what the magistrate is saying is, this is pretty cut and dry. Plaintiff's complaint asserts claims under Florida state law, including defamation, civil remedies for criminal practices, tortious interference with business relationships. Looking at the above factors, this is not a complex case. The magistrate's going, this is really easy. Guilty! Okay, not saying guilty yet, but just saying this is not difficult. It involves a relatively small number of potential witnesses and should not require the examination and analysis of large quantities of documents. Additionally, at this stage, this is what I love, plaintiff's legal claims appear relatively straightforward and do not involve novel or particularly sophisticated legal theories. They broke the law, they're guilty, give me settlement, done deal. That's all it is. Furthermore, the pleadings filed thus far by its defendants, best part ever. The pleadings...
It's blocked.
Oh, I did that again. The pleadings by the defendants suggest, remember, they filed all this stuff. They did it illegally, not disclosing who they did it with and did it for them. And now they put themselves in a position before this court. Now they're saying, suggest they can communicate their allegations as well as the average pro se litigant. In other words, they hurt themselves doing it because the magistrate is saying, wow, you cited all this case law already. You obviously know what you're doing. You can communicate with the courts just fine. So they did it illegally, didn't disclose who helped them. The magistrate goes, well, you're fine. I'm already looking at it and you didn't have any problems. You're not getting a free lawyer. They destroyed themselves yet again. I mean, who is this dumb? Seriously. I just...
Did he debunk their motion?
I can't believe it. I'm going to get to it. This is the magistrate now debunking them. Okay? It is... I love debunking. It makes me feel so good. Additionally, there's no reason to believe defendants are not in a position to adequately investigate the case themselves. Well, let's face it, they did it all. All we're doing is showing the evidence of what they did. It's pretty easy to investigate. They either did it or they didn't. Now, they already know they did it, and in Ohio court, Crook admits to everything. He literally even says in Ohio court. So when LIEnette wrote the signs, what's that have to do with me? He throws her under the bus. When in Ohio court, Crook goes, when I pointed the firearm at Jeremy, he says and not firearm. He goes, that didn't happen in Ohio. That happened in Florida. How dumb can you be? These two are at the top of their dumb game. I can't believe it. I honestly, I can't believe it. Okay, let's keep going. I lost my spot. I got so wrapped up in their stupidity that I actually...
It was the part where the judge debunked them.
Okay,
on their
so
motions.
the judge is debunking, and defendants are not in a position to they are in a position to adequately investigate the case themselves. Finally, defendants have not provided the court with any information establishing that this case will involve any conflicting testimony that will require cross-examination by a skilled lawyer. It's literally going to be me saying they did this and them going, no, he didn't. And then my lawyer going, well, here's the Ohio, where the Ohio judge says, if you give testimony, this will be used against you in other suits. Do you want to give testimony? And they both go, yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. And it's going to be them throwing themselves, incriminating them in federal court. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And I keep telling them I'm going to do it. I mean, come on. There's a video. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to do. And what do? More stupid stuff. And Marla keeps helping them. And Laura keeps helping them. And all these fools, Victoria keeps helping them. Lizzie keeps helping them. And they're all going to get what's coming to them down the road with the legal system as well. But birds of a feather. And it's not even birds of a feather, because I fly in a flock with a feather, Mark Feather, and I like him a whole lot. Turds of a shell, they make their own lives. Hail's hilarious, okay? And it is. I mean, there's so much comic relief. Okay, and so for these reasons, defendants' motions for the appointment of a counselor is denied. The magistrate literally just debunked them like nobody's business in a court document, which is now public record. I love it. If the circumstances change in the future and the defendants believe such a change warrants the appointment of counsel, well, the defendants can file a motion requesting appointment at that time. In other words, what he's saying is, you ain't getting it now, and if something changes in the future, which it's not going to, then you can file again. And by the way, when they file again, what do you think's going to happen? Well, I can tell you right here. Look at that big, bold, black word. Denied!